Theme park once again here, folks, and this has actually been a pretty fun map for this entire event. We've seen some pretty crazy things, especially inside of Armory and Throne. Some squads able to simply pierce the site by walking in via Dragon, something I thought I would never lay eyes on in my life. A bunch of other crazy moments with roam clears and, pretty interesting positioning from the defensive members that have really been giving some grief over to the offense, and also some interesting Garhook plays as well towards the top floor. So a lot to be had here. Gonna have some fun, aren't we, John? Let's get through these bans. No Thatcher ban here, but we will have the Kaid ban. A little worried about that. And Liquid, rightfully so, worried about Solus for this big of a map. Gonna get rid of her.
So Solus left in play. The Kaid as well being banned out due to the hatch work that could provide, as well as the difficulty that could create for attacking places like Throne Room, of course. Interesting one. Not one we tend to see, at least for me personally, all that often on this map, but it certainly makes sense given the circumstances. Liquid immediately going to go for the Throne Room defense as well here. Will not be bringing any alternate form of wall denial, as they don't feel they need it for this specific situation. Going to be relying on the potential impact of Echo instead, I believe, to fulfill a very similar role of that denial should we get into a tense late round scenario.
All right, well, Theme Park is currently sitting at 7 plays for the tournament, 59% defensive win rate overall. The most won site, not actually Armory Throne, that's a 60%, it's the second most. It's gonna be Initiation Room and Office at a 73%, but there's way less plays, 11 of those, 35 plays for Armory and Throne Room. Looks like it's going to be a top floor defense here for Team Liquid, even though they are obviously going to be down low. It's going to have this roam game going on, and when you have this in-depth of a roam strategy, you're really going to need some other provisions around, which is why we have all these reinforcements abound on the top floor. Try and break up some angles that Direwolves are going to be able to use, make it to where they have to waste a lot of time droning here. And they're more than likely going to have to do so because they don't have Dokkaebi to try and assist them with that. They do have the Yana clone, but that's practically the same thing. You're still dedicated to your utility in that moment, and it's not making it to where, spatial awareness wise, things are a little bit easier for you. So Direwolves with a lot of information to process now.
Palu trying to line himself up to take first bids on the initial fight here, but not necessarily going to be getting it thrown his way. You can see Direwolves a little bit hesitant to potentially commit themselves to the inside of this early on. The drones are brewing, though, so still a good potential for him to be found out at some point in the future, but he does want to directly contest against that one. He's going to have to be careful. As I mentioned before, we can see those drones buzzing in towards Cash now. Paulo looks like he's not going to be alone either. As the second member rotating over from the office bathrooms will more than likely be joining him. And Nesk also has some challengers waiting for him on the outside of both the arcade window and the cafe door.
I'll say Direwolves is giving Liquid quite a bit of respect. Saw that drone game there towards Nesk. Both of them like pins towards that cafe door. Do not want him running out, although that would have been the most ill-advised thing. Harambe will pick up Palu as he tries to hop out. Exactly seeing where that window was, but either way, that is going to be the Azami going down.
I'm going to assume that was Cash door or Dragon window, just considering the position he was playing previously. Could have potentially been somewhere else too, as it has been a while since we checked in with him. Reset's going to get hopped out on there as he once again goes down. Trades are going all over the place right now as Liquid tries to recompose themselves in this situation. Ask finding the most recent one. Him and Lagonis, all that remains, but Jackie Wu gets the shutdown on him before he can rotate into a safer position. Lagonis downstairs is all that remains. Very lonely now in the depths of Throne Room. A very unfamiliar situation sits before him. He's having a few more teammates to help him out in this scenario. Definitely still winnable, but it is going to be a very, very tough win at that if Liquid still want to try and control this one instead of the clutch. As Direwolves, keep in mind, have only gotten all those kills for the roam clear. They have yet to step foot in the site, although they do have quite a few breaches made already to make that site execute relatively straightforward.
Hasn't been droned out yet. Saw it rotating to the back of Throne. The rest of the players are Direwolves, mostly positioned upstairs. Actually scratched that one position upstairs on the hatch. The rest positioned down near split door, and they're going to get the assistance on this. Candela's in. No, they'll probably be pressuring the opposite side. It's a pre-fire from Lagonis, but the jig is up now. They know where he is. He's got to get a kill. He's got to get something here. Otherwise, the rest of the team's going to show up. He finally gets one, but it's too little too late, John. when you find that fight, you gotta go, man. You have to go. There's too many people alive. Ill-advised there. Team Liquid falter. Just really don't like how they work that roam strategy upstairs. Gave 4 bodies, and you still have a minute remaining. You really want to see them at least fall back one player to try and assist the Echo down low. Because think about it like this. If Lagonis is dealing with this, the other player can potentially see that door opening, assist with the IQ. There's so many different ways that they can work out that round. Definitely frustrating. You have to be feeling for Hugzord back there.
Not sure if there was something blocking the exit routes for the roam game on Team Liquid there, preventing them from getting back into Throne Room.
They wanted the fights.
But yeah, no, that's what I think happened too, just based on what I was seeing at a minimum there. If they had a little bit more composure, personally, I think they win that round there. If Lagonis has one more player with him that was able to successfully escape back down into that sight hole, then I think they have enough player power there. Given the, once again, hesitance to execute from Direwolves in that 1v3 there, I think that they would have been able to work it.
Yeah, that's one of those strategies. If I'm a T2, T3 team, I'm like, oh, thank you. Really appreciate that, guys.
So we'll see if Direwolves can keep that momentum rolling. Like I said, this should, in my opinion, be a pretty easy adjustment from Team Liquid. Just cool it off a little bit on the aggression, and everything should be still swimmingly as far as that last round would go if it was replayed. A few repicks showing up for Direwolves here as well, but nothing earth-shattering, mainly just bringing the Dokkaebi in, I think, to try and catch some of those members of Team Liquid if they do indeed go back into a more passive hold here. Keep in mind, it took quite a while to try and suss out some of the members of Team Liquid. Most notably, I think it was Resets playing upstairs there, Apollo, excuse me, playing over by Dragon at the beginning of last round. It took them quite a while to actually get him out in the open, so that maybe trying to speed that up a little bit and bring the Doke in.
Yeah, and that's when he lost out to the Claymore. Oh, actually, he might have jumped off of a security window before and fallen into that.
There's a couple spots he could have gone from, because we hadn't checked in with him in like 30, 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 47 windows over here, so yeah, there's definitely some choices. Oh, looks like going to be okay. That is interesting. Reinforcement down here. Oh, Lagonis on the Warden. I really like this, actually, because it's going to make it to where they, if they do get a swing in here and Lagonis can't see it, they can't actually work out to the arcade balcony. They're stuck in there. So, not a terrible idea to keep that reinforcement in the pocket and fix up that wall if it's necessary, if that's how the offense wants to try and play things.
Palu's still going to be causing problems over here by Dragon, just as he was doing in the previous round here. So that'll be the priority, I believe, for DW to at least establish staging ground to move forward. Yeah,
oh, did that? Oh, okay, very lucky.
No, he hit that. Yeah.
Thought he blew up his, no, I thought he blew up his drone.
Oh, okay.
On the little edge of the window there.
Kept that one alive. Unfortunately, Zombie has more of those barricades. They're come up quite quickly, so the window is resealed just as fast as it was blown up, and the same will be true for a third time. Frag going to be thrown up over here towards Paulo. He's ready for the fight, though. Just goes directly for the engagement against Ray C. No immediate follow-up as well in trying to breach it and get the trade. Before, of course, we could see that window get reinforced again by Paulo here, so he's allowed to kind of get away with that one. Good possibility that he could have been traded, but is able to escape from it. Harambe, though, finally catching the angle inside of the bathroom window on Repel, and now he will find the trade instead. Damage has still been done, however, Direwolves, even with that pickup on Paulo, going to be down a player.
Yeah, terrible mini game here for Direwolves. They try to hit the casino slots and end up empty-handed. Palu getting 2 big kills and wasting so much time. Under a minute remaining, and Direwolves really don't have that solid of positioning around the map. Nesk still fortified here inside of Cafe. Direwolves reeling at the moment. Trying to reposition up top onto the roof. Got a player down low, hopping inside of stalls. Nesk with a nice shot onto Pekin, and they're just going to back off of this. It's a 4 versus 2. This is going to look very similar to what we wanted to see inside of that last round. They get those picks on the top floor, just reel it back. Don't really have to do all that much. The aggressive peaks might get you in trouble, just like it did for Nesk. Is that man count starting to shore up? Surely Team Liquid does not want to give over yet another round that was firmly in their grasp for moments. Over to Direwolves. A nice shot there from Resets. Fantastic off the information. They know Souffle's got to be around the smoke here. Some nice shots from him. He'll get 1. He'll get 2. No way, Souffle. Please slow it down. Lagonis is going to hide for dear life. I would too.
After the last round, I'm not trying that again.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he ends up back, is able to win that one on the timer. Valiant attempt from of course, the last player alive. Souffle. Thank you very much. Of course, there, but just not enough the setup to be able to make it work. Not enough time, more than anything, to be able to try and flush Lagonis out from his position. Emeralds, of course, getting onto the board first, but now Liquid finds the response. Similar chain of events to what we had occurring back on map number 1. Now we're going to see who really takes the lead here. We'll go back to the Armory throne room setups. This is the real test for Team Liquid. Have they learned their lesson from the first round? I would say so far, yes. The pulse being brought in from Palu is a good sign. They're maybe going to try to play things a little bit closer to the chest on the site when we get to that mid to late round position.
We're not really going to have our answer until about a minute into the round, so we'll see how this goes. No echo here for Liquid, but they will have some extra cameras with the Valkyrie, as well as, like you were talking about with Palu and the pulse here on the cardiac sensor. Able to figure out where the offense wants to try and move in from, especially the window players. It's always nice to have a beat on them, know what windows being held, know what crosses you can actually move through on that top floor. Probably make Liquid's life a heck of a lot easier. He's able to do that for them. But for Direwolves, speaking of making lives easier, they got Jackie Wu on the Monty. Should be fairly straightforward affair for them to push into much of anything they want to. Palu, so dominant, constantly at the top of this dragon position, but apparently they forgot that he lives here.
So been warming up for that one for like 2 rounds now, playing it nice and passively, just kind of posturing more than anything. Gave Direwolves that false sense of security, like, he's just going to chill, he's not going to pop out, and suddenly... Third time is the charm there. He does finally go for the peak. Direwolves are none the wiser to it. It's a very important pick, too, and the fact that it got the Dokkaebi, so all the intel drain.
I didn't realize that yet.
Both the phone calls gone. Any additional pocket utility she was carrying, of course, goes with her. 0-3 start for Ray C as well here. It's a little bit of a frustrating game so far, but plenty of opportunities still to make that up.
Yeah, that's terrible. And not only that, but when you have Monty in play, losing one of your guns means even more than it did prior, right? Like, if you have 5 guns up, then yeah, you have 4. But now they technically have 3 and a Monty. So it makes things even more perplexing for Direwolves.
Jackie is going to give 0 respect to the Team Liquid hold here because of the fact that he's on that Monty. But oh no, look at Liquid here. Oh, wait a second. Jackie with the hot drop, picking up at least 1 trade on the ask. He knew he was a dead player the second he saw that a zombie barricade go down to block his exit. Very smart move, by the way, from Team Liquid to do that. And just decided to take the fight, drop the shield, drop the body, and in the process takes one with him.
Yeah, terrifying.
It's a real Rorschach moment there.
Yeah, really, really.
I'm not locked in here with you.
You're locked in here with me. And immediately drops to the ground, starts biting your ankles.
Nicely done there. Still going to give an advantage, of course, over to the Team Liquid roster, but a bit of a slighter one here now, as it is just a 4v3 entering the final minute of play.
How messed up is it, though, that Ask did that to him? Like, that is absolutely psychotic stuff coming out of the Asami.
Well, he paid the price.
Yeah, he really, really did. And honestly, he almost deserved that punishment for doing that to our poor Monty player, Jackie Wu. Team Liquid will still end up on the top of the heap, though, past that interaction. Palu taking quite a bit of damage, but the Well-Aware's in Gong. Nice flick there from Pekin. A little adjustment over to the right-hand side of said... Almost said snare. That's not a snare. that would be an actual drum. Talking about a cymbal.
It's the right category, you know?
Indeed, indeed. Looks like we are going to be working this from the yellow side, but that also means that Resets has fantastic position to try and play around this.
Pekin still waiting for things to clear up, unfortunately, to the Toxic Babes deployed there deeper into the breach itself. Reset's going to try to make one for him, so he's got to be careful. His teammates is a little bit beyond that one. Thankfully, in the connector, though, not going to have to worry about it. Lagoon cleaning things up, but his teammates need to regroup with him as Souffle. Thankfully, now, the only player left standing for the DW roster. No case control either. Time about to run up. DW just a little bit too slow there, leaving enough time for Liquid to shut down their execute in those dying moments and still control this round.
Well, the pick of the Dokkaebi is the biggest piece to that puzzle. This shot right here, the first bullet out of the ump of the round, practically decides it.
He almost gets Palu there, too.
He really does.
Like 2 bullets away from hitting Palu.
Almost one. Some of those pistols have crazy damage models. They really, really do. So, but Direwolves, you got to be feeling for them at the current moment. They lose their Dokkaebi, and really, that was going to be the saving grace for them throughout the round. They needed to know the positioning of Liquid on the base floor when they were trying to set up for their execute, and they didn't have any of it. So, very unfortunate round 3 for them. But now we transition it into round 4, and hopefully Ray C can stay alive this time.
Well, Liquid in front of the charge. Yet again, let's see how they try to double down on their lead and lock in 3-1 scoreline to once again guarantee at least a tie scoreline as we move over towards halftime. That could once again prompt us towards a DW pause. I think DW are keeping up the pace a little bit more consistently on these rounds. Of course, as you might expect, considering that we're on their map pick now. They might also feel the confidence to just carry on forward, thinking they can reforge themselves deeper into this half with the knowledge they already have without their coach, or potentially go for the rebound once they themselves get onto the defensive side too. By the way, we are into the actual play portion of the round now. Liquid has moved over into the lab. We've seen quite a bit of an execute-heavy setup come in for DW. The Montaigne has stayed in play, but joining him now is also going to be the Candelas from Soufflé. So we'll see if Liquid has enough utility to stem the tides. They did not bring a Warden to try and directly counter that out. You have some other things, though, that may end up tripping up this execute, most notably those Capcan traps. There have been a lot of very low-time scenarios inside of just this map so far. So this is a good read from Liquid, specifically to potentially catch the Montaigne as well there. If he fails to check the doorways and ends up running into a double stack.
All shots onto Jackie Wu's shield, but all in void due to the mountain. Beacon's going to try and get his clone in here. Might be a clone fake, actually, as we saw him cancel that out just for a moment there. But looks like Dire Wolves might be going for some other things on the other portion of the map. But this would be very heroic here from Soufflé. Nobody really around to be his saving grace. Be Superman into yellow hallway. Got top floor presence still here from Team Liquid over on the daycare side. Slow rolling yet again here from Dire Wolves. They don't have the Dokkaebi in from Ray C. He did end up switching over to the Ash, so they're just going simply by their eyes and ears. Movement of Team Liquid and the damage really starting to pour in. Some nice kills here from Liquid as they'll drop not only Jackie Wu, but practically the entire squad. Ray C and Soufflé sent reeling. Soufflé already dead. They have no idea where Ray C is. Well, this is how my ranked games look. There's some guy all the way at the back of the stack, and he's going to wait right here and ask. Yeah, that's basically it.
Liquid up. Putting Dire Wolves right in.
There we are.
Center tray on that one there. Cooking them up nice and quickly. It's not going to leave any
Oh,
room.
what a flick.
Nice
This is really how my ranked games look, seriously. I'm not even lying.
Ray, trying to put up some numbers on the board here. Gets close to another one against the resets there, but can't find his head as quickly as he would like to. So still a definitive round for Team Liquid. Once again, the players from Dire Wolves try to directly challenge the setup outside of Cafe, pay the price for it, because unfortunately, even with the Montaigne there, they are not able to bully back those positions. Team Liquid stick around. See that impact coming in there as well, really shaking things up, finishing off the job. And I think Palu to actually claim the majority of the kills from that fight.
Yes, indeed. Fantastic play there from Team Liquid, but Dire Wolves not using the full value of their entire lineup there. Especially for Ray C, just moving in a little late. That's about it. Trying to find his position to try and assist his teammates, but it really wasn't readily available to him, especially with how they were trying to move. Just a really short and condensed area, trying to push into the rotate at the top of yellow. And it made it so easy for Liquid, right? Because Capcan's just playing on the other side of the vending machine with impacts, and he's constantly throwing them at the feet of the Monty. Makes life so easy for Liquid there because there's no counter angle, there's no pressure from waiting, there's nothing. You know, if Ray C or another player is around that space, then they might be able to make something out of this situation, but obviously not. Little unfortunate for Dire Wolves, but they still have a lot of rounds ahead of them. Round 5 on the docket now, and they still feel confident in this Monty. They're going to pick back into it.
Third time is hopefully the charm for the Dire Wolves here. Looks like the spawn peak from Palu back in round number 3, but he's had his fun over there. No longer even going to be taking a position in this part of the map. Has other plans apparently this time around. So Dire Wolves will be able to move in. Not too much contention, although just as I was speaking about it, Palu does make his return over to the Dragon window. So scratch that. He will still be trying to hold things back here. It has, I believe, at least one Wamidus to support his position over there. Nade's going to go in. It should bank off of that one, but it'll also kill it. So at least gets rid of the first of those barricades. The other one moving in. It looks like the magnet has already been deployed as well, sitting just below there. Actually, no, it has not captured it yet. It did get EMP'd out. That's why we don't see it eat things up on the initial toss. Good read on the utility and good usage there, but no! The Nitro from Resets deep in the bathroom claims Jackie Wu. The Montaigne just cannot get himself onto the surface of this execute, as once again, he goes down before he even gets close to the site.
Investing into the wrong stocks here, John. Not really working out for him.
Wow. Apollo as well, just sneaking through that angle right there. Goes completely unnoticed somehow. Potential for Dyros to have clipped him off on a pixel peek, but they don't catch it quickly enough. So he dashes back, rejoins the rest of the team deeper in the site, happy with the 5v4 advantage they have and the additional damage that was done to Soufflé too, although they may not be aware of that yet.
I'm just so disappointed that they can't make anything out of this Monty and they keep going back to it. I mean, if he dies, sure, but at least get the kill out of it. No, they don't even know what's going on inside of initiation, and we have Pekin just walking into waiting, the crouch walk special. Doesn't work out for him, obviously. Liquid much better than that. Gun him down to the floor. Didn't even provide an EE1D for that. Like, see, this is where I'm going to start getting nitpicky, John.
This is where the pause probably comes in after this round too, because it's just...
But why? It's round 5. I mean, it's going to be the last round of this half. That's kind of pointless, to be honest with you.
They might just need to give their players a break, in all honesty, more than anything. Might not even be for strat reasons, because, like you said, with mistakes like that being made, just not even checking initiation, that's a bad sign.
Not even backing it up with utility. There's no conversation happening here. No conversation at all.
I think the coach might just come in here and try to reset things a little bit mentally.
Well, I mean, Liquid's got to be happy as a clam.
Oh, Liquid's, moving along swimmingly right now. No issues at all showing up for them.
Oh, my.
Early roam is finding impact, man. That should have been a guaranteed trade for Ask, but I mean, gets clotheslined on the way down. His head clipped off halfway back down to earth. And as a result of that, Liquid seals the deal on round number 4. Round number 5, very much in the cards here if they try to go for it. And for the look of things, Direwolves apparently agreeing with Stokes and seeing that there is really no point for pause to come in on this round. They're just going to keep on trucking.
Getting a second glance at that for Jackie Wu, trying to have some influence over the door. Here's a couple key factors about this, right? You've been running the Monty the whole time. You know they're going to have explosives. You know they're probably going to have cap cans. And probably some impacts, because that's what they did to you last time, right? So positional-wise, I really don't understand why for Direwolves there's nobody trying to assist him on Cash Balcony. There's not a single person home to try and influence something if something goes wrong. It's unhelpful. He's just there for no reason at that moment in time, and it makes it to where Team Liquid can get away with too much because they have the ISO'd pick. And even past that, I mean, it's just unfortunate for Monty. He really wasn't able to absorb as much damage as he wanted to with his shield there. Splash damage getting around the edge of the shield to the left-hand side. And Direwolves, it looks like they're sick of it, John. We've got Fuse in here. You and I haven't even seen Fuse this tournament. Might be the only time he's been played. I'll try and confirm that here as we're getting through the round. But
people are definitely playing around with him a bit at Jönköping as well, so we were seeing him picked up quite a bit there. Somewhat mixed results, though, in terms of how much he was actually contributing. Really great for, like, bleeding out utility if the Fuse actually has access to the interior of the site that it's trying to take it out from, but the problem is the ability is still, at least in my opinion, a bit too telegraphed, and that can oftentimes make it very difficult to actually make impact on players. Combined with an execute, of course, that can be great. If you work like a lion as well, where you force players to sit in one position, and if you have the intel, you can follow it through. People to take quick control of an area of the map, but we'll have to wait and see how Direwolves are going to use that, specifically because already, I'm sure you folks at home have noticed, but if you're watching on audio feed only, Direwolves already down a player. Pecan eliminated in the first, say, 20 seconds of the round here. And that is also going to be the Yana gone as well, so that was meant to be their entry. An early exploratory operator is not going to be able to use that at all here. First of those Fuse charges is used just to try and clear things out if there was any presence over at top yellow hall.
I feel like every time I look down at my notes, John, somebody dies. I need to stop looking down for Direwolf's sake. I really do. Peeking dead. What happened with this situation? What happened here?
We didn't catch it on camera, but I think he got peeked or potentially made the wrong entry point, basically.
I got caught peeking?
Yeah. You get points for that one. Speaking of which, Ness gonna get a few points here too, taking down Jackie Wu. As I've met Jackie, just unlucky here as well. He's always the big utility operator and just can never get himself anywhere close to the site, whether it's the Montaigne or apparently the Fuse now. He is second to go down on this round. Liquid continuing to have a very casual day on the defensive side, just going through the motions, it seems, as Direwolves continue to make blunder after blunder in the early round, which makes their mid and late rounds a bit of a moot point when everything's considered.
And Team Liquid's having a great Friday right now. This is any Friday that you want at your office job. Just very calm, very chill, not having to do all that much, especially from the defensive end. Direwolves is just kind of giving up the goods.
On intel.
Well, nice kill there from Harambe. Had Racy to back that up as well. He's going to drop in. See if they can try and get any more kills here. Team Liquid could open the door potentially, but It looks like they are doing their best to try and snap this shut. Ask, fantastic position here from him as he will take down Soufflé. And again, this just goes back to a lack of information. Team Liquid knows it. They all know it. Nobody's on drones in order to really assist. And the craziest thing is Direwolf still has 6 of them, but instead they're trying to take the fight to Team Liquid. They're not trying to do siege things. They're really not starting at the top of the list and working their way down. There seems to be no checks and balances in place at the current moment for their offensive side, but fortunately enough, they don't have to worry about that much longer, do they?
Just a bit lost in the last 2 rounds, specifically here it seemed for the Direwolves, so very unfortunate that the attacking half ends that way. 5-1 now becomes the scoreline. Team Liquid in a dominating position here. 2 out of the next 6 rounds need to go towards them, and yeah, I mean, just look at the team roster right now. Deflated, I think, is a very appropriate word to describe the team at the moment here. No real room for a pause to even come in at any point unless they start to pick up a few rounds. Maybe their coach has some input then, but it's a new half as well, so everything he might have been able to glean from it more than likely only applied to the attacking side specifically, so like Stokes had mentioned, not really a point to do so. Nothing that can be really gained from it, so they just have to keep on moving forward and hope for the best here now that they are on the defensive side. They're going to start things out with the upstairs hold over here in initiation as well as office instead of going for the relative safety, one would assume, of the throne room here. Pretty usual assortment of operators as well. Lots of utility mitigation. The Frost, of course, to try to throw off their opponents on entry. And then the Zombie for that individualistic play.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Well, for Liquid, John, apparently it's anything you can do, I can do better. Monty in for Lagonis.
It's like, we'll show you how this works.
Yeah, you see this Dokkaebi thing? Watch this. Now watch this drive.
We must stop.
We must stop these Montaigne players. Now watch this drive.
Now watch this. Now watch this run it.
Well, we'll see if it works out for Liquid. If they get it, it'll be a 6-1 round differential at the current moment, which would be absolutely absurd. Direwolves just not able to get things going on this offensive side. The defensive half of Theme Park, obviously a little bit easier. I was checking those stats earlier. 60% defensive win rate for this map overall currently. Direwolves not able to find that same mark, obviously. It's been hard fought for them. Very lackadaisical gameplay as they've been struggling to try and coordinate things. Team Liquid have been fully exploitative of that. Looks like Liquid have been able to identify out some of the Kiba barriers around, but do they know that there's a frost mat somewhere around here? Not going to be under the hatch. We'll likely have that droned out, but there are some around the space, these windows and such, that could be troublesome.
Escape for Ray here now, trying his best to circumnavigate back over to the site. He's bitten off far too much from this scenario, though. Constant info drip coming in, of course, from Lagonis there, so all that much easier for Nesk and his corresponding teammate on the other angle to shut that one down. Harambe, though, potentially with a surprise here at the bottom of Dragon. He's waiting for the Montaigne to turn the other way, and what's going on over here? Resets has somehow gone down outside of Gong Door. Not entirely sure how that's happened, but looks like he's in a safe enough position to be revived.
I don't think he had his PPE on. I think he fell off the roof.
Well, that would be unfortunate if that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, when you belay, you really got to check those ropes. Jackie Wu looking to get aggressive. Lagonis, he's found him though.
Everyone's looking aggressive here.
Yeah, it's so unfortunate because Liquid are doing such a good job of playing around Lagonis.
This would be a great strat if they didn't have a Montaigne, basically, as I'm reading this right now. Ask with 2 more pickups as well, as he's able to, actually, I'm pretty sure, get into the site as a result of that aggressive swing from the Direwolves players. Yep, they've now been boxed out of the site entirely. Soufflé with at least a partial wrap back into it. Picks up the trade onto Ask, stops his rampage on this round. But as Stokes had mentioned, the case now well down onto the ground, already nearly 10 seconds into the defuse timer. Harambe alone here in the 1v3 of Montaigne standing directly in his rotation path. The Montaigne doesn't even really need to have the shield up anymore. He can just take the fight because of the numbers advantage. So Harambe trying his best once more. This is the same situation that we had before, though. Nesk with the swing. The Montaigne drops the shield. Basically a pseudo flashbang there to distract him. And that will end the round.
And that's on coordination, baby. Don't even have to peek. Just slide that shield. You want to be an annoying Monty player? Spam that shield. Oh, man. Nothing worse. Nothing worse. You're staring at him for 10 years, John. He doesn't want to peek. He doesn't want to peek you. You look to a different angle. Ah! Gotcha.
Le Roc.
Unfortunate. Yes, Le Roc. and it's been working swimmingly for Team Liquid. A full-on masterclass on how Monty should be played around from Team Liquid. They take it to Direwolves, prove their point, and it looks like they've just fully dropped the shield play. They're like, yeah, that's all we wanted to show you. You guys can take some notes on that.
I wanted to show you can work, guys.
Yeah, you can take that back to APAC.
Good to see the variants still alive here for Team Liquid as well, despite the fact that once again they do have a solid strat working out there. Not feeling that Monte's really going to work out for their throne room attack specifically. But we are going to see the Amaru.
Say the name, John.
4 resets. I got to write that. At least I hope I did.
You did indeed.
So my brain apparently couldn't even tell the difference last time. So.
Happens to the best of us, my friend. It's like I was telling you, there's some times where I literally just talk about her in the sense of the Gara hook because I forget her name for a
That's what I was doing for a while too there.
It happens.
Safer.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Gara hook is such a unique name. Just works better in my stupid brain. So, either way though, Liquid's entirety of Theme Park has been utterly dominant. Although it is not their map pick, they have looked very, very good on it, dissecting Direwolves, constantly applying pressure, making it to where Direwolves cannot really force a hand across the map. Also, Direwolves just kind of faltering on themselves, not really trusting their strategy, not too confident and playing around each other, trying to get away with too much against such a solid squad. But Liquid hasn't had the greatest start. They do have the fundamentals down, don't they?
Certainly looking like it. But a confident day for Team Liquid here. Regardless of the outcome of the rest of these rounds here, they were feeling good about themselves, and why shouldn't they? Getting their feet onto the ground finally, but that doesn't mean they can, of course, be lackadaisical about their position in this tournament. Still in a very, very delicate position, even if we are to assume they follow through and win out this series here. Really just starting to rebound here. And we have to hope that it's going to be enough to keep them in the playoff contention here between this match and one that they may still potentially have tomorrow. Nesk, a nice immediate steal. The drone acting as a distraction. Oh, looks away at the wrong moment, but his opponent apparently not ready for that fight either. Souffle, and now Harambe picking up exchanges elsewhere on the map. Harambe will be caught by Palu, trying to relocate. And that equalizes us now, down into a 3v3. Palu still with some intel to play off of, though. Has the location of the Valkyrie hiding out down below over here. Now repositioning towards Gong, but Palu will be aware of that. Okay, be over-aggressive in trying to hunt that player down. Just waiting it out. We still have a little over a minute here, so a decent amount of time for Liquid to utilize.
Minimal drone game for them, but probably some drones set up around the map. Actually, it's literally the only one that Palu has active. That's the only drone remaining. Still the Jackal up. Still have the Yana clone as well. Palu's going to use this drone because they technically have infinite info game coming out of Nesk. Just have to wait on the cooldown, so still trying to find something here. Might have been the peak that Palu was looking for, but more than likely didn't consider that would actually be a possibility. Souffle's been discovered inside of Gong. Reposition himself. Palu does have the drones. Nesk is going to drop in. He knows he's in this space. It's going to be all up to the challenge. Nice shots onto Souffle, but the headshot goes wide. 2 versus 3. Direwolves, there was time to make a stand. It'd be now. Match points. Team Liquid, Palu moving in behind. Souffle with a big pickup. Palu so many rounds inside of this PDW when it comes down to it. Somehow, you still feel like it's manageable for him, but Souffle with fantastic moves out towards Dragon. He discovers him through the rotation, and Direwolves stave off elimination.
You said his name a lot, Souffle, definitely the big player inside of that round, constantly forcing the Liquid players to hesitate with regard to their execute, and of course, just picking up those constant frags over the course of it as well. Solid start for Team Liquid, but just failed to follow it up as they tried to move around Dragon and other parts of the map nearby. Souffle continued to cause problems for that last minute or so. Something the Team Liquid did not expect to run into. So the Direwolves survive, get the first of 5 rounds needed to run this one back and trigger overtime.
Long road ahead of them, but it doesn't mean that they can't get it done. Liquid is going to lean back into a very similar setup to what they had prior. This time, though, it's going to have the Thermite in for the hard breach. Direwolves will be ascending to the top floor here, looking to see if they can potentially defend Daycare and Bunker. Can have some deployable shields in here, just 2 of those. Harambe and Ray C will be providing. Also going to have Pekin on the Warden. Saw some successful play out of Team Liquid on a very similar circumstance when it came to their defensive side. So we'll see if Pekin can get away with a few kills early here to kind of set the tone for this potential comeback. Oh,
speaking of coming back.
Don't call it a comeback. We've been here for years, John.
I was just going to mention Lagonis bringing the Montagne. That works too. As we have Lagonis bringing it out potentially one final time here. It worked on round 1, so let's try it again. See if we can repeat that same amount of success here to lock in round 7, along with the series here for Team Liquid. Dire Wolves, a pretty straightforward utility mitigation focused defensive lineup here. A bit of delay showing up for it as well. Peakon, part of that utility mitigation, of course, with the smart glasses. There's a flash dump to the inside. He can, of course, get in the way of that. But for this round specifically, he's going to be trying to get in the way of those Candelas and even the smokes from Ask, one of which has actually already been deployed very early on here. So we'll have to see how Liquid is going to be using that to try and get some early map control.
Look at this little punch roll. Oh, I love it.
My goodness.
Don't you love Rainbow Six Siege? Imagine that, John. Imagine you were just having a nice day. It's about 2 p.m. in the afternoon. You just cracked a cold, fresh Mountain Dew, and then some guy shoots you in the face via that. You have to watch that kill cam too, John. You have to watch him get away with this.
I think we're about to watch it.
I think we are. Souffle.
It's going to be some delay for the looks of things here. Resets actually going to be found out first as the ace is eliminated. Before we see any action show up for him. Those means those Candelas also going down for the count here too. Ask, oh man, this is where it gets dangerous. The peek's in, the Candelas, they'll go right towards that breach. So we're going to see, it looks like it's eaten up. There we go, some damage responded to it, but now he's aware of it. He's going to be able to fire down at it. This Candela makes its way through as well. So no success on that very cheeky angle, just 1 or 2 bullets connecting onto Ask there, but he still makes it through at the end of the day and takes initial cafe control.
All right, so I think Ask is going to be chilling here a while. Palu's discovered a shield. Try and dislodge that, but it's not going to work out because that is hard flooring there. So, a little unfortunate there for Team Liquid. Ask still going to try and maintain that cafe position. Don't know how aggressive he wants to try and get with this as his team is working the other end, but he's going to have to show face eventually because he's the distracting measure. So it steps up, and now his team getting picked to pieces on the opposite end of the map. Finally, some kills coming under their belt. It's going to be a 3 versus 3. Ask doesn't have the ability to clear out this gate, though. He's going to have to try and eat the damage if he wants it. 2 players trying to fight him. Harambe will trade it out into a 2 versus 2. Lagona is still up on the shield. EMP's in pocket, but not going to be necessary as there is no hard breach in play. Could try and use those in a cheeky way to disable Peakin's abilities, but don't really have to try and go for something like that. When you have somebody like Palu, my God, he'll shut him down. Team Liquid get it done on the offensive side. It's a 7-2 theme park, but there was no fun in games from Liquid.
It was a battle of the teams that had yet to place so far here at SI. 0 points for both of them at the beginning of this series, but Team Liquid gives us a definitive stance, shows they are not ready to be knocked out of their running here at the World Championship just yet. They survive. They claim full points for this matchup as they win it in 2-0 fashion. Dire Wolves, things looking very, very drastic. Coming very, very close to elimination now with that loss besetting them.
Well, you have to be happy for the Brazilian squad. Unfortunate results for Dire Wolves, but Liquid needing to get something going. Just lost to BDS at Jönköping, 2nd place at a major, 2nd place